There's a thought experiment that stops most people cold. Strip away your alarm clock, your commute, your inbox, your deadlines, your performance reviews, everything your daily life is built around. What's left? Most people have no idea, because the life underneath the schedule has become completely unfamiliar. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That unfamiliar life, no job, no clock, no obligation to produce, isn't some distant fantasy. It's the life your species lived for 300,000 years. And the evidence suggests it was healthier, more creative, and more deeply social than almost anything we've built to replace it. Researchers studying communities still living close to pre-agricultural patterns find the same result regardless of geography. The Hadza of Tanzania, the Ashe of Paraguay, studied independently, thousands of miles apart, by researchers who never compared notes. The finding is identical: survival, finding food, maintaining shelter, meeting the basic requirements of staying alive, takes roughly 15 to 20 hours per week. Not per day, per week. The remaining hours are simply available, and what people fill them with, entirely by choice, reveals something about what humans actually are beneath the layer of economic obligation. Bone evidence confirms this. Skeletons from before and after agriculture tell opposite stories. Agricultural remains show arthritis from repetitive field labor, tooth decay from grain-heavy diets, stunted growth, and shorter lifespans. Pre-farming skeletons show taller frames, denser bones, healthier teeth, less physical stress. The archaeological record is quietly delivering a verdict on which way of life was harder on the human body. Here's the question that cuts to the center of this. If survival demanded every waking hour, there should be no evidence of anything else. No art, no music, no ornamentation, just tools, bones, and the exhausted remains of people barely getting by. That's not what archaeologists find. They find cave walls covered in imagery, so sophisticated modern artists study the technique. Tiny perforated beads carried from coastlines miles away, drilled by hand, with no function except beauty. Bone instruments carved with precise finger holes, not just a desire for music, but an understanding of how pitch works. None of it was necessary for survival. Every hour spent was time that didn't go toward the next meal. And people did it anyway, across continents, across tens of thousands of years. Which means it wasn't accidental. It was what humans chose when the choice was genuinely theirs. But what did an actual day feel like from the inside? And what did people do after dark? Before artificial light, before entertainment, before anything to distract from just being alive together? That answer might be the most revealing part of this story. Observation of communities still living close to pre-agricultural patterns reveals a rhythm that feels almost foreign to describe. Morning begins with food secured yesterday. Whether to go out today depends on necessity, not a schedule. A good gathering 2 days ago might mean today simply isn't a hunting day. Skilled work happens out of craft pride, not supervision. Tool maintenance, basket construction, hide preparation, these carry social weight because competence is visible and respected in small communities where everyone knows everyone. No wage attached. The reward is reputation and satisfaction. When food is pursued, the method is patient, not frantic. Persistence hunting, tracking prey at a sustainable pace over hours, using endurance over speed, is collaborative and ends in a shared meal. By mid-afternoon, the necessary part of the day is done. What follows is what modern people find most alien: extended social time. 6 hours of it on average, according to researchers who've measured it. Conversation with no productive end. Physical contact reinforcing bonds between people who depend on each other entirely. Children playing without organized activity. Adults resting without guilt. No anxious feeling that time is being wasted. If this is unsettling something in how you think about your own daily life, hit that like button and subscribe. We explore ideas like this every week. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Now let's get to what happened after dark. Because the research on nighttime conversation reveals something genuinely astonishing about where human culture actually came from. Research analyzing recorded conversations from communities without electricity found a clear split between day and night. Daytime talk was practical, logistics, observations, social tensions, coordination. After dark, around fire, the content shifted. Stories about ancestors, explanations of how the world came to be, humor, speculation about things nobody could observe. 80% of nighttime conversation moved into narrative and meaning-making, the territory of culture, religion, philosophy, identity. Fire created conditions daylight didn't allow, a protected space where the mind could move away from immediate problems into questions with no practical answer. Sleep was structured differently too. Pre-industrial records and modern sleep research conducted without artificial light both point to the same thing. Humans naturally sleep in two phases with a quiet, wakeful interval between them. The restless waking at 2 in the morning that modern people treat as a malfunction was once simply the middle of the night, used for reflection, quiet conversation, or prayer. About 10,000 years ago, a shift began that would end this way of life entirely. Settled agriculture let more people survive in one place. More people required more food. More food required more farming. The logic locked in fast and became irreversible. Within a few generations, population exceeded what any other strategy could support. There was no way back. What followed over the next several thousand years was the gradual invention of everything that structures your daily existence. Specialization, division of labor, currency, employment. The idea that your time has a price and someone else can buy it. The skeletal record from early agricultural populations reads like a medical complaint. Malnutrition, repetitive strain, shortened lifespans. The system fed more people, but it didn't make life better for most of the individuals inside it. It just made turning back impossible. The life you wake up to every morning is extraordinarily new. The alarm, the commute, the requirement to account for your time in units someone else defined. These structures are roughly 10,000 years old at their earliest, and far younger in their current shape. The species running on that schedule is 300,000 years old. For 97% of human existence, what to do today had a genuinely open answer. Survival was real and demanding, but not relentless. Time remained, and humans filled it with the things that define us most clearly. Art, music, story, relationship. The quiet making of beautiful things nobody required. You didn't evolve for the inbox, you evolved for the fire. Whether anything useful comes from knowing that is a question only you can answer. Hit that like button, subscribe so you never miss content like this, and share this with someone whose daily life deserves a second look. Drop a comment. What would you do with 6 free hours today if you genuinely had them?